Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to get this gas can swing out pretty much wrapped up. So follow along as we get it going. This is Jeepingmo. One thing I really like doing is TIG welding. I still have a lot to learn on it to get really good at it. But there's a lot of TIG welding on this project. And if you don't have a TIG welder, you could very easily build something like this with the MIG welder. Whether you've got one that takes gas or flux core, you don't have to use a TIG. I just like using it. And for me, I think it makes a better weld. But whatever you have, you can create projects just like this. So I've been trying to figure out what all I want to do with this back section of this swing out. I think at some point there might be some other attachment points to this, but I need to get this thing welded up and get it on the vehicle so I can try to figure out what else it needs. And I think this is just like any other thing, like a Jeep or any other vehicle, put it in use and then let it develop itself. One thing I've been thinking about is coming up with a series, kind of like a build along. So we would actually stream it and then kind of build the project together a little bit. Give me some feedback, let me know what you think of that. See if that's something that anybody in any of the viewers would be interested in. So it's raining outside. And we're going to use the fixture table. We just got to clamp down. Took 2 clamps to hold it because it's cantilevered out pretty far. So we got to get the gas cans located, get some rough ideas, and then at some point we have to put it back on just to figure out where the taillights were. So we have to come up with something to hold the gas can itself, to support it on the frame. So here we're just starting the supports that's going to come off of the main frame and sit under the gas can. So all that'll get notched, deburred, and cleaned up with a Scotch-Brite wheel while we try to kind of work out what that looks like underneath the can. Alright, so we got the pipe under it. What we'll do is we'll get it located with the vertical piece so that when it goes on the frame it's in the right location. Let's just get this all tacked together and let's see how it does. So I can't tell you how many times this thing came off and went back on as we try to work out these locations. Trying to keep these just above the taillights so I don't get stopped for blocking my taillights. But I want it as low as I can to try to keep the weight low versus high up on top of this thing. The magnet will work better. I'm using that Strong Hands magnet that I bought at the last FabTech show. The thing's really powerful and it works good for stuff like this, and I can set it at any angle. So then I'll show you a couple ways here how to get this mount parallel with other sections of the frame. So I'll show you a couple ways to do this. One, these are called adjustable parallels. So I can set this on this rail, and then I can just rotate this until the two are in the same plane. The other way would be to mark a center line on your tube, and then you could just measure to here and measure to here until they're exactly the same. Use whichever tools you have at hand. Instead of having that big wide strip, since this is really just keeping you from stealing it, I'm still going to bring the straps around, and those would be like a nylon strap, maybe even a vintage like a leather buckle. I'm not sure yet. I think I'm going to use these center straps just to keep people from being able to take it off, and then we'll bend it so that the whole thing will just lift up. Alright, so let's get these bent. This bender was a lot of fun to build. We built it on channel 6 to 8 months ago. It takes a 20-ton hydraulic press you get from Harbor Freight. but we've bent a lot of stuff on it. It really works out handy. It sure beats a vise and just beating around a corner. It's been very useful. Alright, so that should go around the gas can. Alright, so the hinge is going to work. I'm going to weld this tube to the plate, which will weld on top of that main tube. I'll weld that piece of 1/8 inch I have bent to this, and that way, as I open and close, this will stay inside of this. This will go around it, and then when this goes over the top to retain it, you can't lift it out. And we have the nylon straps coming in. So we took a piece that we originally bent to try to go up over the top of the gas can. Now we're using it to go around the gas can, so we're putting a second bend on it now, and we're going to have to bend it in 2 pieces, because we don't have any way to bend it as one big continuous piece. So we just go here. I think I like that. That'll go here, and what we'll do is we'll just cut that in the middle and put something there to seam it. Alright, let's make another one. Little tools like that digital protractor work out well. You can zero it, and it gives you a good idea of where you're at when you're bending things. And you don't have to really worry about if it was level to start with. You're only working with where it started. Alright, now with any luck, it's fairly close to this one. And I would say that they're pretty close to the same. Alright, so now I can cut this and then seam them together. Alright, so the gas can will be on here. There we go. It'll be just basically just like that. We'll weld these together, and it'll go right on. Little spring back. The angles might be a little bit, but once I get this welded, these will spring just enough. Be perfect. And then the can will sitting here just like that. Now we got to get that strap that goes over the top. The strapping came in. I think we're going to get these on the side somehow, and then it's got these came with a buckle to hold the can in place. Alright, so it's time to start getting some of this located. So we're going to lay out and cut out a ring with our plasma cutter. So this eventually will get welded on here, but I need the ring to lock in the pin. So what we'll do is we'll cut this out with the plasma cutter and then clean the edges up with the sander. I've been thinking about adding a small plasma table to the shop just for little things like this. Who knows what else we could do with that. I'm sure it would open up a lot of capabilities and a lot of projects for us. Alright, so the ring's on here. What we'll do is we'll get this centered up, and we'll just go through the body, and I'll mark it in 2 positions, drill those holes, get it cleaned up. Alright, so I found some bushings, one for a boring bar, so that I can put it up in this bore and it's not real loose. And we use our transfer punch. So need a piece of rubber in here, so we're not clamping right down on metal. So let me show you what we came up with. So we found this puzzle mat, this foam, We're just going to cut some squares off and we'll screw it down to the face. See how that works. Alright, so a little test fit up. We got our foam in here. So that'll go on. It'll go on so you can lock it. Right, so put your lock on there. I'm sure these have to be readjusted. These adjusted. Be nice if these were more elastic. So I'll get these all trimmed up. And that way I can lock it. So now, for the most part, I gotta weld stuff to the bumper, but that's all in. We know where the ring's gonna be. I gotta decide if I'm gonna put another can over here or if I'm gonna leave that open for something else. I'm not sure. That might get a rotopack on that one side for water. Pretty clean install. I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna leave these here or if I'm gonna cut them off. The original plan was to mount something up here, but I think the weight's getting a little too high. If anything, maybe I'll drop this down and put the jack down here. Alright, so we got the straps are all trimmed up. Got the lock mechanism on it. The latch is all in. We've got the ring on it. We don't have the grease cap on yet. And a little pull tab to lock it in different positions. And we did end up cutting off these horns. I put this mount up here. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Maybe still put the high lift jack on that. Haven't decided yet how I'm going to finish it. Do the strap, and I can put the strap on either side. That'll come over. Then we end up putting that puzzle mat material in here. Use those washers to hold it in. That one's a little deep, so I might have to change that one out. Welded the rings on for the straps. I think that worked out pretty good. We just ordered strap material. I need to trim that back just a little bit more. I wish it was elastic, but and we welded up, bent up and welded up the tray, welded on the lock ring for the padlock so no one steals the gas can. And then put a square on the end of the tube for the toggle lock. Overall, I think it came out pretty good. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to paint it yet or if we're going to powder coat it. Alright, so that was building the swing out gas can. It was a pretty fun build. Hope you enjoyed it. I think it turned out pretty well. Overall, I think we got to finish it out with something. I don't know if I'm going to powder coat it later. We'll probably put a coat of satin black on it or something like that. Just keep it from rusting, but I don't know what else we're going to do with it. And we put this mount on top, so I don't know if we're going to put something there and something else on the side. I want to use it a little bit first, see what else we're going to do with it. So I hope you enjoyed this build. Check out some of our other affiliates like Rockmount Welding Alloys. We use all their abrasives, welding rods. It's a really good company, especially if you're doing maintenance type welding. or repairs. I'll leave a link for that in the descriptions. So whether it's on the trail, on the build, or at a show somewhere, follow along. This is Jeepingmo. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share.